your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I've spent the last 2+ decades of my life. Before I start this episode, I just want to express my gratitude for all the viewers out there for supporting me, for this last few months, helping me get to 3,000 subscribers. It's this whole new reality that I've came home to is pretty interesting. I feel like I'm getting to know and building kind of a relationship and rapport with people that I've never met all across the country and even around the world. And I just want to say it's pretty cool, and I'm grateful for all your guys' support and love. And I hope that I can continue to give you guys content that you guys like, that are entertaining. Also, I want to ask, in my videos, I never ask you guys to subscribe or to share or anything like that. It's just because I'm caught up telling my story, and I really don't know how to ask those kind of things. I'm just here really to share my life experience and hope that maybe somebody out there can take something from it. But, this YouTube stuff is starting to become real to me. At first, I just wanted to share my experience, like I said, and also, there's some things in there that I would like the public to know, because, the public have a mispreconception of what's really going on in prison. And I just feel like I have an obligation and responsibility to the people that are still behind the wall to give the public, the facts and the reality of it. But now, today when I got up this morning, I seen that we have 3,005 subscribers. And, I remember when I first started out, getting excited when I got 10 subscribers. And then, it took like a whole month to get to 30 subscribers. And then it was 100. When I reached 100, I was like, for me, it was like popping the champagne bottle, because, it's hard for me to get my mind around that there's strangers out there in the world clicking on and hearing my voice and hearing my story. And then even beyond that they come back and watch another one. And then now that over the course of these last few months, we've built kind of like a community. Not only that some of the comments that I read, not only that people are entertained by the stories, but they're concerned about the reality of the stuff that's going on inside the wall. And for that, I appreciate that, because when we're not aware of a problem, then we're never ever going to look for a solution. And, to start on the path of finding a resolution, a solution for all the atrocity that's going on behind those walls, we first have to know about it. And then once we learn about it, then the people that we need to speak to is not the ones in the suit and tie behind the office on Capitol Hill that are not in the field, that are pencil pushers and only dictating the things and policies that they want implemented inside the prison, but never been themselves behind those walls to see what really is going on. To really get prison reform, to really try to help people in those situations, you have to talk to people that have the experience, that's been there firsthand. And not just prisoners and ex-con and felons that have been incarcerated in these facilities, but actual staff members that are on the front line, that are dealing with the everyday issues coming through that door. Because a lot of our policies and rules and regulations are made by individuals that has never been on the front line, has never been in the field. They read some handbook, they read some psychology book. Yeah, they got their doctorate degree or whatever. But if you've never bitten an apple, chewed on it, savored its flavor and its sweetness, how the hell can you ever tell somebody else how that apple really tastes? How can you help someone out of addiction if you yourself has never been an addict? How do you help someone move away from the lifestyle that they've lived for most all their lives, if you have no idea what it's like to live on that side of the streets? So if we really care about and mean all the things that we say about prison reform, about helping people, then let's talk to the people that can really help. 24 years, I didn't learn any skills in the penitentiary that were implemented by the system, by the prison, that could help me out here in my everyday life. The highest level of education was a GED. Then after that, they had some crochet classes you could take, some beading classes, some paint classes, some leather classes. But there was nothing about finance. There was nothing about filling out a job application. There was nothing about the jobs that are available at the current time. You know, because after 20 years, job skills change. The job industry's demand for certain skill set has changed and evolved. You know, the only thing I'm qualified for today is manual labor. I probably can't even flip a burger because you got to go use the computer for a whole lot of shit. And I have no idea how to use the phone, the computer, the iPad, and all that stuff. I'm learning, but it's like I'm absorbing it at such a slow pace that it's frustrating. But these things could have been taught to us through the course of our time. They could have provided an opportunity for us to learn these things too. So when we come home, people, you know, our employer can see on an application, okay, you're a felon, but hey, while you were incarcerated, I took this class, I passed this class, and I have this type of skill, and I am able to do this. If you have that on your resume, I'm pretty sure that there will be more employers that would overlook your criminal record because you have a skill set. What they don't want is somebody with a criminal record and have no skills and no sense. And another thing is that if you put these programs in place inside the penitentiary to teach people real life skills that they can come home and get a job for, it might motivate these individuals to, you know, make different decisions in their lives. But the system is not doing that. The system is just locking the door, throwing away the key, and let us know when we need to come and bag up the bodies. And it's sad because, you know, we all make our choices. And I'm the exception when I say these things because I feel like through the course of my life, I've had plenty of opportunities that I didn't take advantage of. I've met people along the way that reached out, that cared about me, and tried to help me. But I was too arrogant, too ignorant, and just not ready to receive the help because I didn't recognize that I needed help. So that's me. But I've been in the penitentiary, a lot of people that didn't have the opportunities that I have, that grew up in circumstances that was fucked up. And it was a miracle that they're even functioning, that they even have any type of sense. because of their household environment was so bad. And that's a lot of the people that are incarcerated. I mean, we can bring out the statistics all the way from the juvenile system into adulthood to see, who are more likely to end up in the juvenile system. Somebody from a 2-parent home, middle class family, or somebody from a broken home living under the poverty line. You can see kids that are locked up where they come from. They're not coming from the east side, rich neighborhood. They're coming out here from the valley, in your city. They're coming over there with the low-income housing neighborhoods. And you ask yourself, why? Why are these kids coming from these places? Well, because the environment they lived in is fucked up. And they don't have the role models or the people living in those environments that care enough about them to help them through that. So a lot of them are left left to their own demise. And they're just trying to survive in the best way that they know how. And it's sad that, the things that we know how are things that end us up in prison. Like I said again, I'm the exception. I have no excuses, but for a lot of these individuals that's locked up in prison, man, where else could they have gone? That was already written in the books from them because of the environment that they live in. Broken home, drug addict parents, gang banging neighborhood, just their whole life, just from a young age, been infested with all that negativity. So how do you help someone like that? You professors, you professionals that have been born with a silver spoon, been educated in the high college, in these prestige colleges. How do you help somebody that's come from this environment? How do you help somebody when you don't understand the pain, the suffering, the tears that comes with living in this environment, with growing up like that? So again, if we really want to reach out and help people, whether it's in the juvie system or the adult system, we got to bring people in that's lived that life, that's experienced it, and somehow, some way, were able to claw themselves out of that darkness because they found a way out. So you have to talk to somebody that's found a way out to help guide you out. Or not, we're just going to be wasting money through these programs that these states and these federal governments try to implement, which sometimes when I look at them and I see it's like, this has got to be a joke, because there's no way that these things that you're trying to implement or preach or whatever is going to help anybody in the real world. So it's got to be a joke. Or, there's only three things. It's a joke, or you're ignorant, or it's a scam. And I'm leading to the latter, the scam. They throw these implements out, they throw all these fucking programs out there, get funding from the state, get funding from the federal government, fill up their pockets, and the kids get left hanging. So I don't know how to go about all this, but I'm definitely pursuing it and doing my part. Just this weekend, I had an opportunity to participate in a nonprofit fundraiser that were open. A nonprofit run by a couple of my homeboys in the memory of, rest in peace, the homie Samuel Pule, aka C. Looney from SIA. That's the homie. I was in juvie with him back in 94, 95. And he passed away of COVID just a year ago before I came out. So about a couple years now. But before he died, I didn't get, I haven't seen him in 20 something years, 28 years, 95. So it's been a long time. We were kids together. We were locked up together. And he was rowdy. But in 2006, when I was in Beaumont, my friend Charles Freeman was in a county jail fighting his case, and he ended up getting 15 years for bank robbery, and they shipped him out to Beaumont. So when he was in Beaumont, he had asked me, "Hey, do you remember Samoan dude, short, wide, stocky? They call him Looney." I was like, "Yeah, that's Sampule." He said, "Yeah, I was my cellie." So I guess my friend Charles is white. He's Jewish, red hair, freckles, white guy. But he's a pain in the ass to the staff, because every little thing he's writing the staff up. He's suing them, writing them up. But the reason he's a pain in the ass and they don't like him is because he knows his stuff. He's a legal beagle. He's helped me fight my case through my bid. He's helped my attorney he was doing the all the research and the paperwork and the motion and stuff for my attorney. And he took, I think I might be wrong, but he took like 15 cases to the Supreme Court for her, which getting to the Supreme Court is a big deal in that legal world, So he knows what he's doing. So, every little fucking, everything that these COs fuck up on or whatever, or any of their abuse, when they abuse their authority, their power, the homies putting that pen and paper on them and getting their ass in a bind. So they figure, he's white and the homie Samoan, Looney, they're gonna throw him in Looney's cell and hopefully Looney slap him up a couple times, But even though, from outside looking in, you see Looney, he's ruckus. He's a handful. You might even look at it like he's a bully. That's because you're looking from the outside in, don't know nothing about the man. So when they try to throw the homie Charles, Chuck, into the cell with him, nothing happened. They got along because they're both men and they both understand about respect, But while he was in there, they're cellies, so they're gonna have conversations. And the conversation that relate to me, what they were having in there was that, like I said, Looney's one of the dudes that was known out here in the street when we were kids. Everybody knew who Looney was, Sampule. He was out here putting in the work. And a lot of people gravitated to him. He has a lot of friends from different races, different gangs, different age group, because he was just that person that had that type of energy. But the only thing was, at that time when we were young, he was taking that energy, that love, that charisma that was able to draw people in on some crazy shit. So at this time in his life, Chuck was telling me that, a lot of parents, a lot of the older polys were blaming him, holding him responsible for all the kids running around being crazy and wild and fucking up and stuff. And at this time in his life, he felt that. He felt the guilt and the burden that, maybe he played a role in misleading these youngsters into whatever, life they're leading now. And, I don't know when the transformation happened within him, because like I said, I've been locked up, since 94. Since 94, I've only been out a year. And I was only in juvie with Looney when we was kids, 94, 95. So I never got an opportunity to meet the man that he became later on in his life before he passed away. But, you know, my homeboy was locked up with him in 2006, and this was the conversation he was sharing with me that, you know, Looney was talking about, you know, remorse and trying to figure out how to, you can't undo anything you've done, but going forward, finding ways to, at the very least, make up for it. At the very least, not put the same burden, not put the same pain on the next generation. And, you know, when men like these have conversations, it's not hot air. It's not just talking to try to impress the other guy, because we're all a bunch of fuck-ups sitting in a freaking cell. So when these type of conversations come about, it's really when somebody reach a point in their life and they realize, like, man, maybe this ain't the way to go. You know, as we get older, time starts speeding up. Every day just seems to flash by in a blink of an eye. And before you know it, you're going to be on a freaking oxygen tank or some shit. You know, you can't walk, can't move around. So when those thoughts come into play, you're contemplating your mortality. And at the end of the day, when you move on, you might not really care about what's left behind or what people is talking about you. But right now, thinking about it, you do care. I care. Like, what is the legacy that I'm going to leave behind? Are my nieces and nephews just going to remember me as some uncle they didn't know and one day popped up in their lives and been in prison and just all the negative stuff? Or do I want to leave a better legacy? And for me, I want to leave a better legacy. Something that my nieces and nephew, and hopefully my kids in the future, can speak my name with a sense of pride and love. So even though I'm not there with having a conversation with Sam, or was able to be there to see his transformation, I believe I have a sense of what he's going through and what he felt. You know, he was passionate about this. So when he came home, he pursued it. And a couple years ago, they started their nonprofit called Day One, DAAY, but one as in WON. And a lot of people on that board are ex-con that are trying to give back to the community, to the kids, you know, whatever they can. And the thing that they have that is most valuable is their experience. Kids are able to hear from real men, dudes that done their time and did it the right way, but it's coming to a point in their life where they know that, man, this ain't the life, man, and are trying to share their experience and hoping maybe it gets somebody to take a second look at their life and the life they're living. And I was able to be a part of that this last Saturday. And, you know, I apologize that I didn't get into any crazy story for today, but really it's just, for me, waking up this morning, I just wanted to express my gratitude to all the viewers and all the people that's been supporting me through these last few months. And I want you to be on this journey with me, because I really feel that, you know, we're on the verge of something, you know. And again, I would like to ask, man, share this shit with everybody that you guys know. Tag them, be annoying. Let's see if we can get this subscriber up to 10,000 and let's really make some noise. Thank you so much. Welcome to the USP.